to Tales from the Strip, episode 2. I am your host, Gio, and today we're going to get a bartender's perspective on the club scene. Last week we had a dancer's perspective, and today's special guest we have Jazz the Plug, aka La Bella Jew. Today,
happy to be here.
And you weren't always a bartender, correct?
I was not always a bartender.
You used to work at In Flex We Trust, and right, correct?
Yeah, I was at Hot 97 and Flex We Trust. So basically, I've always kind of been in the nightlife scene, so I knew all the DJs, and then I saw that an opportunity opens up for the Flex needed an intern. So I went to school for that, as you know. So I applied ASAP. Drewski was actually there. Drewski gave the guy the okay, like, all right, she's good. So I started interning, and then they gave me an opportunity to actually work in the station. Because for our Flex We Trust, it's all from home. You don't even go into the station.
Oh wow, work from home?
So this is all on the internet. So once they gave me the opportunity, like, hey, you want to come do hot97.com, you have to come in every night. Okay, so I did it. I drove to the city Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. until midnight, every night, paying those tolls, paying the gas. Wasn't getting paid $1.
I'm sure during that time there was a lot of conversations you had with yourself, like, is this worth it? Because
you know
it was
what?
an unpaid internship.
It was unpaid, but I always knew that's what I wanted to do with myself. So I rocked out, and then I eventually got put on payroll. I got hired, obviously, and that was my job.
So it worked out?
It worked out. It took a while, but I think it took 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is dedication, but you were happy and it didn't seem like
I was
work,
very
right?
happy because I felt like everyone has to go through that. Some people intern for 2-3 years. So for me to do it in 9 months, it was cool.
And how did a little Jewish girl get into the hip-hop scene? I mean, you're working for Influx We Trust, so that means you have to be skilled and well-versed in hip-hop, some shape or fashion.
So growing up, my parents are jazz musicians, jazz, R&B, and blues. So I grew up in a very, very multicultural household. Like, a lot of my family's black. I have a Spanish family. So I grew up where color to me didn't exist, even when I went to high school and everything. So for me, I was just me. I always knew about hip-hop. I always knew about music. And then I speak Spanish fluently, too. So growing up, like I said, majority black, and then I always showed the Spanish kids. So no one even really looked at me as a Jewish kid, like the Jewish girl, because my Spanish is fluent and I know about hip hop. So I fit in everywhere. The white people were the ones who didn't accept me, if anything.
Who are some of your hip hop influences?
Nas, obviously, best rapper in the world.
That's debatable.
And then,
we're not gonna get into that.
And then Pun. Those are my two favorites. And then Joe Budden, as we know, I love Joe Budden.
And working at Influx We Trust, I'm sure you came across a lot of rappers and artists. Did you ever help break a record or break an artist?
So my favorite story to tell is I actually helped break Fetty Wap, and I'm actually still cool with him and Knit the Grits to this day. So I was working at it was like a, it's like his rappers went, they wanted to go get counseled basically by people in the industry. A little showcase in T-Neck. So they had me backstage talking to all the rappers. So finally, like, the main special guest was Fetty Wap. So I had heard Trap Queen like 2 years prior, because my ex was a DJ in the industry. He used to always like shout it out on his Instagram, and I feel like, oh, Trap Queen Patterson. And I used to get mad, like, who's this girl? Who's this Trap Queen girl from Patterson? Not knowing that I never listened to the record. So, Knit the Grits talking to me like, yeah, it's Fetty Wap, like, you don't know, that's Trap Queen. So I told him the story. I'm like, wait a second. I thought my ex was cheating on me with this Trap Queen girl from Patterson. So he introduced me to Fetty Wap. He's like, oh, why don't you come on stage with us? You could hear the stuff. I said, okay. I go on stage, and I have this on my Instagram. He did all his records that went platinum. Like, I was there listening, and the energy from the crowd, the energy from his performance was so good. So we had like a little mixtape. I gave it to Flex the next day. I said, listen to this. He got signed a month later.
Wow. And
I was going out with them, hanging out with them. I was into his videos. I would be at the studio with them chilling. And he always remembered like what I did for him. And I like that. I appreciated that. So
did that catapult you into other positions to do stuff with other rappers?
It did. So I was working with Sue Surf for a while.
Okay.
For about Jersey all day, Jersey. So I actually went on tour with him and Joe Budden. So I was Surf's tour manager. So I did everything for them on tour. Made sure, that he was everywhere, that he had to be on time, that, his outfits were good, that, any place that, just anything really. So it was dope. I like that a lot. Working with Surf was dope.
So it was a good experience.
Yeah.
Definitely something you do again.
And it's crazy because, yes, 100%. And, like, Joe Budden is one of my favorite rappers. So being on tour with him was to me, it was just like, who would have guessed 15-year-old me would have died for this right now? And here I am just chilling, like,
How is that, getting to meet, like, one of your rap idols? And actually getting to work with them, rather?
it's so crazy because it's just like if you would have just compared to growing up, like how much you would like idolize these people and how much I would just sit in my house all day just listen to the same songs over and over again, and now like we're chilling eating tacos backstage, like having a beer, like it's so cool, you know?
Back at him.
Like going to his house, having like game nights and stuff, like just it's just not to me. It's just it's Joe. Okay, cool.
Very, very
whatever.
Dope.
So yeah.
That's something that you got to scratch off the bucket list.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, I was so happy.
Now, how did we transition from working for Influx We Trust to being a bartender?
All right, so while I was interning at 197, a lot of people don't know this, I always bartended. I've been a bartender since I was 21. So I was serving, I was doing catering stuff, and I was still always bartending, always. But I worked in a place that was super low-key and out of the way. So I never had to promote it on my Instagram. I never had to really put it out there. So, and half the reason was because I didn't want to lose respect as like a girl in the hip-hop industry to a bartender. You know, I didn't want to lose like...
Be diminished.
Exactly. So I don't want people to look at me differently. So I was doing that, and that's how I was really staying afloat, because I was making all this money bartending on the side. I'm still being able to intern and do what I wanted to do. So then so then 2016, we caught a lawsuit for Flex for the website. One of our interns used a picture of an artist and didn't source it, and then the photographer sued us for $100,000. And we lost.
Whoa.
Had 97 cut our funding, and I lost my job.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Bad news, bitch.
So after that happened, I was kind of freaking out because I didn't want to kind of downgrade and go to a day job, because I felt I was still popping from the industry, and I couldn't do it to myself. I know mentally I would just so I'm like, what else can I do? Let me become a bartender on the scene. Boom, I knew all my connects from the the club scene. They put me right in. I was killing it, and here I am now.
Now, you bartended both at a strip club and regular bars.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your experience in strip club bartending. How's that like?
The thing with strip club bartending is you really need to have people like your regulars that are gonna come out, or you have to have customers, as they call it in the strip club scene. If you don't have those customers and it's a slow night, it sucks for you.
Slow looks.
That's it. Maybe you could walk out with $2 and that's it. Compared to a regular bar, which I prefer more, you could just meet people. You don't have sections. It's not so territorial. You're not dealing with dancers hating on you. So I personally prefer a regular bar over a strip club. But I made a lot of money in the strip club scene.
You said a stripper hating on you. Let's talk a little bit more about that. In New York, that's a very big thing.
It is the ultimate beef. You have no idea. Yes, the strip club bartender beef. So the thing about the strippers is that they get mad now because bartenders are, realistically speaking, making more money than them. That's not our fault. I'm sorry, my bad. I don't know what you want me to tell you. So I was working at Touch one day in Staten Island that closed down. Ugh, R.I.P. And Mo Wickerson from the Jets was there. He's on the Packers now. Cashing out. Miss Ballerina, cashing out. Just throwing. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a nice night. So I probably made maybe like 700 so far, and that wasn't even, the night wasn't over. So, and I was in the worst bar too. I was in the shitty bar all the way by the door. So I had my bucket, I had like my box or whatever. I had it under my bar. So Mo was about to he was about to throw more money. So I'm not paying attention because I'm just like, Then I turn around and I see that my tip bucket is like, my whole box is gone. So then the busboy told me how a stripper came, took my whole box. She was mad that Mo was making it rain on us and not on her. And she took my shit and she ran out and never came back to work, ever. Like, was it worth it for that $700?
So you legit got robbed.
I got robbed. In front of my face, not even seen. Like, I turned away for 2 seconds. Strip clubs are it's cutthroat.
That's crazy.
In regular clubs, you don't really have those issues. You may have dumb issues, but not like that.
That thief and stripper bitch.
I
couldn't believe that happened.
That little hoe, I was mad as hell. Yes, then.
But you got caught slipping. You didn't have the little box.
It was under my bar though. It was right in front of me. She must have did it real quick. I don't know. And she just did. She ran out and never came back. So sucks for her because she lost out on money. Then they ended up closing down like 2 weeks later.
Outside of Mo Wilkerson, do you ever recall any other like celebrity cash out big ones?
No, because I was more so in like, Mo would actually come to all of our parties. He's the best. He's really, really supportive. Oh, I had Brody from The Wire. He came to Dolce a few times.
Cool.
That was cool. I like The Wire. I'm a big geek of The Wire. So, Albie Al. That's my guy. I love Albie. Yeah, he came to Dolce too. Dolce, we would get a lot of like rappers and stuff there. So, but as far as strip club, no, it was just really Mo Wilkerson. That was our main guy.
And why do you think it is that the bartenders make more money than the dancers?
Okay, if you're a dancer, you're not necessarily promoting yourself on social media as, hey, I'm a stripper, I shake my ass for money. If you're a bartender though, it's more socially acceptable, I think. So you could promote, hey, I'm a bartender. Hey, come to my bar. Let me give you liquor. Mind you, we're doing the same shit as them. We're both shaking ass, really half naked. There's no difference, but it's mentally, if you're a bartender, it's just more acceptable. So, yeah. So I think that if you're a stripper, you're just kind of like degrading yourself in a way. Not really, but you know, you gotta actually leave the bar. You gotta dance on people. I don't. You could look at me. I can still dance in front of you, but you can't touch me. That's not.
I make more money.
I make more money. So guys like the conversation. They like more so knowing that, oh, not every guy is touching you right now.
And the dancers, they don't like that conversation.
They don't like that conversation. And mind you, a lot of my friends are dancers, but that's just the truth of the situation. Like, I feel like, you know, guys look at that like, difficult.
You're around a lot of guys with money, and you, as a bartender, you got to show off a little bit. So
and it's not even just about guys with money. It's about guys in the industry, in the scene. Like, I can't deal with a guy who's not in the scene because I'm so, especially from like the hip hop scene and the bartending scene, the club scene. That's my life really. That's always what it's been about. So for a guy who, let's say, has a 9 to 5 that's trying to date me, first of all, I'm not coming home until 3, 4 in the morning. If I'm lucky, and then I'm around a lot of guys who I'm not having sex with. I'm just friends with them. But you got to deal with that. That's just what it is. So a guy with a 9 to 5 who works in an office all day isn't gonna get that
at all. Right?
At all. So I really can't. I can't. It doesn't work.
Do they try to get it?
They try, and then they just always end up getting crazy.
Get their feelings hurt?
Yeah, get their feelings hurt, trying to just act nuts, and I'm just like, bro, I'm not doing that. So I prefer, like, I did like the whole dated DJs. It's another story for another day. And yeah, DJs, drug dealers, promoters, no rappers though. I never dated a rapper ever.
Why not?
It's not, no. No.
So you can date the drug dealer, but you can't date the rapper.
100%.
That's fucked up.
Nah, no rappers, no. Because in my job, I was dealing with rappers all day, and I know the real struggle. Like, I know. People might not know, but I know. Because I've been there.
And then you don't want to become the girl that dates the rappers and interviews them at the same time. Or
Never.
does stories on people that she dates. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
At all.
So instead, I'm just a bartender who posts flyers of DJs that I used to date. But I'd rather that than, I just feel like that's more respectable. That's more, like, normal.
So working in your industry and dating, they're constantly thinking that you're sleeping with somebody else. Or it's
always. Oh my God, all the time. You know, you gotta take cute little videos. You gotta post all these thirst traps. Like, you gotta flirt with people. That's another thing. The strip club scene, you have to have like 7 fake boyfriends, and you have to entertain them to the point where they think that you are actually like, mind you, you're not even having sex with them or nothing, but you have to entertain them. So they pull up at your bar every week and cash out on you every week. That's for strip clubs and regular.
That sounds like a stressful situation.
It is. Because then when you really want to settle down, then you gotta tell your man, hey, babe, you know I love you, but you know I also got like 7 fake mans on the side that I don't really like at all, but they still come through and they give me money.
And they support the lifestyle.
They support the lifestyle. You have to.
So you're not sleeping with these men
at all.
Are you sleeping with anybody currently? What's your sex life about?
It's interesting.
You're mad cheesy right now, so I mean he busting your ass.
Something like that.
So how often does Jazz the plug require sex?
A lot. I'm a little crazy, as you know, so it has to be.
Yeah, in your conversation, I've discovered that you are quite, in fact, a sexual deviant.
Something like that, yeah, absolutely. I would say that.
Done a plethora of things. One of those things being a threesome. A few of them, in fact.
All about the threesome life.
Really?
But there's rules and regulations.
What are those rules and regulations?
Okay, if you are my man and I am bringing girls to you, basically to have sex with, well, for both of us. Number 1 is my pick. I choose who she is because that's just the rules. I don't know if you're bringing another girl that you used to maybe fuck with, and if you bring it to me, like, hey, what about this girl? And if I'm with it, okay, cool. I have to be in control though. It's all about control thing with threesomes. The female has to be in full control of everything. If I think that maybe after we have sex and then you might hit her in a DM on the side, I'm not with that shit. It's not happening.
So part of it is we can't interact with the girl.
We can, but it has to be on my terms, or you can't hit her like. So okay, so that's rule number 1. Number 2, you're not gonna chill with her out without me. You're not gonna text her without me. We're gonna have a group chat that we can talk all together, the 3 of us, and that's just how it's gonna go. And if I catch you chilling with her when I'm not around, then you're just dumb and you just messed it up for yourself.
Sounds like you'd be very stupid to fuck that up.
And you'd be surprised because guys fuck it up all the time.
How so?
The last dude I was talking to, this badass bitch too. She was so popping. I told him like, oh look, we're all gonna go out together. Like, here, follow her on Instagram. So the second that he follows her, she followed him back, knowing that was like my man at the time, or whatever, my dude at the time. He slides in her DMs with some corny shit, making me look dumb. Then I go away, and then he takes her out on a date when I'm away in DR.
More corny shit.
So I'm like, all right, well, that's never happening. Now I know I can never have a threesome with you because you're just completely going against all the rules that I have. You just ruined it. For what? For her not to even give you nothing, so you're stupid. So those are my threesome rules.
As a person who never has had one, that makes me very sad to hear.
Never? No way, I don't believe you.
I swear to God.
Oh, that sucks.
I've never been fortunate enough to walk into one of them.
Wow, you will. It'll happen one day.
Or inside of the threesome, rather. Have you ever eaten pussy?
You have to. You can't have a threesome without that. What's the point? How does that even work? It's not. You have to all do everything together. It has to be a group effort.
You hear that? You can't have a threesome without eating
That's
pussy.
boring. Like, let's.
So for the people that engage in threesomes and don't eat pussy, they're whack, right?
They're whack. That's not a threesome. That's just like
half-assed.
you're just having sex next to each other. The guy's just switching. That's pointless.
I agree 100%.
It's not really a threesome. It's just like a one sub and a one sub.
Would you consider yourself an enthusiastic head giver?
Oh yeah, 100%. I prefer to give head than to get head. It's weird.
And why is that?
Cause like I just feel like if you're my man, like I want you to be happy. I want to make you feel good. So.
Where's the most randomest place that you sucked a dick?
On my neighbor's front lawn.
Wow.
Oh,
why
actually,
on the lawn though? Like why on the grass? Like really? Like on the grass?
it was a long time ago. It was like from yeah, like on the grass, like yeah. And then in Mexico too, at a resort, literally like there were people eating outside by the pool, and I was just lit. And I wasn't really sucking dick. We were just having sex, but it was like mad people outside, and I was like 7 o'clock at night, cool. Yeah, I would say those are my two craziest.
Tell us about your bad experiences, if any.
For threesomes?
Just in general, sexual experiences.
The worst is like I feel like when you wait and you talk to a guy for mad long, and then you end up starting to like them a lot. So now it's like you already have like an emotional connection with them, but you wait to have sex, and then you finally do it, and it's whack. Well, I can't leave you now because we're already emotionally invested with each other. So now I'm just stuck with you, and I'm like, damn.
Hoping that it gets better.
Yeah, but.
What is it that you're looking to do? Are you pursuing anything else outside of this bar?
So I really want to get into real estate. That's been my next thing. I feel like if I could sell drinks all day, there's no way that I can't sell houses. And I have a lot of people that came up to me that do real estate that told me you need to get into this, and like your personality is really good. That I've always been into the food business. Always, I've always worked in restaurants and bars and stuff like that. I want to open up like a bar and restaurant.
I can definitely see you opening up your own bar and running it.
Yeah, so I'm working on it.
Absolutely.
It takes a long time though. It's a lot of things involved, but I'm only 27. I still got time to like plan it out so it's perfect. You know, I don't want to just run into it and then I ruin it. So, yeah.
What would you name your restaurant or bar? You have a name? You gotta speak into existence.
I call it the Plug. That's a dope restaurant. The Plug.
I like it.
The Plug Bar and Grill instead of like the pub. The Plug.
I see what you did there.
I like that. I just thought about that. Nice.
What advice would you give to a new girl looking to be a bartender?
This life is not for everybody. And I just trained one of my homegirls. She has like a really good job, and she's like, oh, I want to bartend. And I said, okay, I'll train you. But I tell her, like, look, this is not for everybody. Like, this life is very draining. You have to know how to mess with people's heads. You have to know how to manipulate people. It's fucked up, but that's the truth. You have to know how to like flirt with people that you want nothing to do with just because they're going to cash out on you. So I would tell them, if you're built for this life, just make sure if you want a serious relationship, that they either have to understand it or you can't be with them. And you just really have to like know how to just hustle. It's hard, but it's worth it though. End of the day, the bartending money is like no other money you'll ever make. Aside from drug money, there's nothing else better than that.
And drug money is good, so I can imagine bartending money is great.
I would assume it's good. Those are usually my clients, so God bless them. But you know, so yeah, it's hard for me to like. Even though I have a day job, I have actually like a normal regular job, but I still bartend because I can't give that up.
And what advice would you give to a couple entertaining the idea of a threesome? What would you say to those people?
It's not for everybody. Just like bartending, it's not for everybody. You can't get jealous. You can't get crazy. You cannot get like psychotic. Like one time I was watching my homegirl and her man. They were having a threesome with one of her friends, and my girl out of nowhere just got jealous and she snapped and she started like beating the girl up naked. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen. I was there drinking wine, like wow, it's crazy.
So you were just watching the
fully clothed, just watching. Yeah, it was actually 3 girls and 1 guy.
Oh, he's lit.
Yeah, he's lit. And then my girl just wilded out. Like she got drunk and she just like it was like a switch, just like and she went crazy. Attacked this bitch, kicked her out the house, naked. It was crazy.
So we'll end on this note. Who would you include in your celebrity threesome, and whose pussy would you eat?
So threesome wise, Kim K all day. Kim gotta come. For me, just me alone. Oh, Kylie Jenner. keep it in the family.
Kylie?
Kylie's so popping. I had to really think about this, but like Kylie, I look at her Instagram all day. I'm like, damn, she's so like. I just want to know like what her and Travis sex, like Scott's sex life is like. Like it's probably so lit.
Kylie look like she got a really clean pussy.
It looks, yeah, I feel like it's very clean, but I feel like they just do like wild shit. Like I feel like she likes getting beat up, like getting like just into like crazy shit. No?
Fans find nah. And that's episode 2 from Tales from the Strip. Where can our fans find you?
On Instagram, my handle is LaBellaJew, LaBellaJew. Follow me.
Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram. See you next week.